No, 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 no. So the guy says to me, I'll pay you $5 if you can talk without moving your lips. So I said to him, and I stared right into his eyes, and I said, pay me the money. What? No lip movement. Huh? That's priceless, priceless. Pay me the money. Oh, hello everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we are covering foreground colors, which is primarily going to be on the actual text. This is another video for the full stack course and video series for CSS. Let's go on ahead, get our Visual Studio Code up and running, and let's get started with this one. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. And let's see, I already have, oh, look at that. Looks like I already have the actual file. Actually, no, that's a previous one. So let's go on ahead, let's get that out of there. We don't need that, but that is the markup we're going to use. So let's go on ahead, create a new file called foreground. And let's see, foreground colors.html. And we'll create another file here for our CSS, foreground underscore colors.css. And we'll open this up with live server by right clicking on the file and clicking on live server. So now we have that opened up right here. We'll close this and we'll add ourselves a little bit of markup just so we can actually have something to change and deal with. So this is going to be called, well, the title will just be foreground colors. Good. Let's link our style sheet with the actual page itself. And we're going to just type link, press tab. And where is, this is the foreground. It's in the current directory. So that's fine. And just as a quick little test, let's just open this up to the right. We'll close this. And you know what? Actually, let's open that back up here. Let's bring this down to the actual bottom. There we go. That's a little better. All right, let's get a little bit of markup here. Let's get an H1 in there. Working with text or text colors. Okay, that's good. Let's get an H2 in here, also known as the foreground. All right, let's get two more elements in there. A paragraph. Okay, text that has nothing to do with nothing. And for lazy purposes, I'm just gonna copy that just to get a few more lines there. And I see absolutely nothing to the left on the screen, which we should. Let's hit refresh. There we go. Sometimes you gotta give, it's almost like a little Kickstarter for live server sometimes. Let's add one more thing here. It's gonna be an image. And let's see, images, bird, and okay. All right, so that's looking good. That's looking good. All right, that'll work. All right, so now let's go to our CSS down here and let's see what we're going to do here. We are working with the foreground. That's mainly going to be the actual text itself. The first thing we're going to do, let's target the H1. So in order to do that, we're going to type in H1, and now we're just going to give the H1 an actual color. We'll call it green. And now you'll see to the left that the actual color, which is the foreground, is the actual text itself. It is now green. Now let's target the actual H2. And what we're going to do with that is we're also going to work with the foreground color, which is just color. Let's go color. And oh, well, here's a couple of things here. Here I'm just naming the color green. All right. If I want to name it, use a hex number here, which is usually a 6-character string or a 6-character actual number itself. There's letters and numbers within it. We can do that. I happen to know one offhand, which is 5B0E65. Okay, and you'll notice a small little change here in which the working with text is green, but now the H2, which is here and here, the H2 is now more of a purple color. Okay, and now let's target the actual let's target the actual paragraph itself. So here we use the actual names, here we're using the actual hex value, and now we're going to use the RGB value. So here numbers are going to be between 0 and 250. So and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So we're targeting the paragraph, and we're going to say color is going to equal RGB, which is red, green, blue. And those are going to be within the range of 0 and 250. So if I were to do one, or actually, let's go, I don't know what 222, 222, 222 is, but I do know that the range is between 0 and 250. So here it looks like the actual paragraph text is very, very light. So that must be more of a light gray. Now, if I use 194, and you're not going to know these, you're not going to know these values. I mean, I happen to know it because I was working with it earlier. And let's see, 6. So let's see what that looks like. All right, so that's really more of like an orangish brown, depending on how it looks on your screen. But you know what? Let's say your boss comes to you and he says, you know what? I want the actual paragraph text to be exactly the color of, let's say, this particular green right here to the left of his eye, right here. So if I want to use that, let me open up the inspector tool within Chrome. Gonna go to the, let's see here, let's actually highlight I'll go right over the actual text here and click inspect. And now what you're gonna notice here is, you see this color I have right here? I can click on that. And if I click on that, I then get the option to play around with the actual RGB values here. I can take that and I can go up a level, I can go down a level. If I want to get a good base, so I can actually, let's start over in the red or in the yellow and the green, and then just trying to go up from there. We're going to talk about this one here. This is really more for transparency, but I want to save that for another video here. So right now we're just focusing on the R, G, and the actual B. Now here's the thing, your boss, he comes to you and says, I want this particular green. You don't know what that green is. So I can go here, click on it, and now I have the actual value in here. All right, so if I get out of that, and now if you notice here, it's the actual text changed to that green. So if I go back on that, right click on it, it's that actual color. So if I refresh the actual screen, this is going to disappear. So I'm just going to select this now and actually copy it. Okay, now if I actually want a different color, let's say I want the actual color on the actual beak or right below. All right, so I just had to pause the video real quick. But again, let's say your boss actually comes to you and says, you know what, I want this actual paragraph text to be the exact color of this wing right here, or this particular green right here in the actual background. So what you can do is, on the actual text, right click, hit inspect. All right, then what you'll see is the actual color of the paragraph tag right here. So we have the P element, we have the color, and right here in the color, we can actually click on that. So once we click on that, now we have an actual eyedrop where we can actually go into an area and get the exact color, whether it's the RGB value here. So if I click on this green, now the RGB color actually changes. Okay, and then if I go over here, I can take this and then place that right within my actual style here. Okay, so now the text is the exact color of the actual green in the background right here. And then my boss is happy. And then my boss can then say, you know what? I want the actual text to be the color right below the beak of the bird. Okay, we're running a nature site here, and the actual clients really enjoy when we do things. They can pick up on it. They have a very keen eye for that. So let's go on ahead and go back to that tool. I'll click on that, and one of the actual tech guys, the actual, let's say it's the project manager, they're saying, you know what, we don't want to use RGB values, we want to use the hex value. So we can go up or down and actually go to the hex value here. Okay, and let's click on right here, right below the beak. Click on that, and now we have the hex value. So now I can take that, Control C, and then I can actually, you know what? We'll use it in the actual H2. Okay, so now the H2 is exactly the same color as the color of the hair below the beak of the bird. Okay, so that's why, you know, using the inspector tools is really beneficial, because there's a number of different things that you'll see us do within the actual course itself. Okay, and I believe that is really it. A nice short one, which is definitely good. Working with the foreground actual colors is pretty easy, because you're mainly just working with the actual text. All right, in the next video we'll be covering the actual background, so stick around, subscribe, hit the notifications, because material's coming out left and right. And you want to be able to look down at your phone or your tablet, and who's using tablets, but you want to be able to look down at your phone or on your desktop and say, oh, there's a notification, there's a new video out, let me go to that and add to my CSS, HTML, JavaScript, the PHP or MySQL skill set. All right, full stack is out.